The time is 1:15. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. Party leaders decide on 3-day debate on no faith motion on Speaker. A program to create 1 million youth entrepreneurs will be expedited. Cabinet approves the program to provide 10 kilograms of rice for the low-income family each month. 20 special police teams deployed as organized crimes in alarming rise. Foreign news: Putin hails illegal annexation of Crimea after claiming election win. Local news in detail. The party leaders have decided to debate on no confidence motion against Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardene for 3 days. The decision was taken at the party leaders' meeting convened at the Parliament complex this morning. The vote on the no-confidence motion is to be taken on Thursday. It was earlier scheduled to have a 2-day debate and take up the vote tomorrow. A program to create 1 million youth entrepreneurs will be expedited. A cabinet approval has been received to a proposal presented in this regard. Plans will also be made to provide ownership of government-owned lands this year to the permit holders. In addition, 1 million youth entrepreneurs program will be implemented. The support of the National Youth Services Council will also be obtained in this regard. Cabinet approval has been received to the program to provide 10 kilograms of rice for a month to each family. This concession will be given to the low-income families in 25 districts. The government is expected to provide these concessions with the support of paddy mill owners. State Minister Sehant Singh says that the number of low-income beneficiary families will be increased to 1.2 million from the month of April. Currently, this payment is being provided to 630,000 families. Accordingly, payments for the elderly persons, kidney patients, and the disabled persons will be increased. The elderly payment has been increased from 2,000 rupees to 3,000 rupees, while payment of disabled and kidney patients has been increased from 5,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news, the government is hoped to import fertilizer needed for the farmers for the yellow season cultivation and to provide at a concessionary price. The government will import the fertilizer under the Lanka Fertilizer Company and the Colombo Commercial Fertilizer Company Limited. Meanwhile, the Agrarian Development Authority is hoped to provide 15,000 rupees concession per hectare under the maximum of 2 hectares for the cultivation in yellow season. This money will be deposited on the accounts of farmers. A total of 20 special police teams have been deployed across the island to crack down on the underworld activities in parallel to the ongoing Yukti operations, says Inspector General Police IGP Deshabhat Thenakon. The decision was taken after taking into account the alarming rise in organized crimes in the western and southern provinces over the past weeks. The police chief said each of these teams, which would be dispatched starting today, will comprise 9 personnel, including 1 Crimes Division OIC, 4 intelligence officers and 2 special task force officers. Minister Sushil Premchandra says that a cabinet paper has been submitted on salary anomalies of the university non-academic staff. Salaries of them were increased in 2016. Meanwhile, the minister said that a program to provide sanitary towels for the school students free of charge will be commenced from April. This facility will be provided to more than 800,000 school students. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that the government has allocated 16 billion rupees for the school children midday meals in 7,900 schools. This program will be implemented covering in 26 divisional secretariat divisions of 13 districts. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
The El Nino phenomenon is the main cause of the dry weather conditions occurring island-wide. Meteorology Department Director General Atula Karunanayaka said yesterday. He further said that the analysis showed that the El Nino effect will last at least until April.
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines first. Putin hails illegal annexation of Crimea after claiming election win. Blinken in Manila as South China Sea tensions rise. Trump unable to get $464 million bond in New York fraud case, his lawyer says. World News in detail. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has hailed the return of Crimea to Russia at a concrete marking the 10th anniversary of the illegal annexation of the territory from Ukraine. He said Crimea had returned to its home harbor and that it would move forward with Russia hand in hand. Mr. Putin was addressing thousands of Moscow's Red Square a day after claiming a landslide election win. The vote has been condemned by the Western governments as a shame. UK Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron said the elections in which serious opposition candidates were not allowed to stand starkly underlined the depth of the repression under President Putin's regime. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Philippines, a key ally of Washington, amid heightened regional tensions with China. Mr. Blinken will discuss trade and will reiterate America's ironclad security commitments to the country, a senior State Department officer said. Friction has grown between Manila and Beijing in recent months after competing claims in the South China Sea. U.S. officials say the relationship will inevitably be part of discussions. Donald Trump cannot find a private company to guarantee the $464 million he has been ordered to pay in a New York civil fraud case. The former president must either pay the full amount in cash or secure a bond in order to continue his appeal. Mr. Trump said that securing a bond of that size was practically impossible. He faces the prospect of some of his real estate assets being liquidated unless he pays up for a fee. A bonding company would guarantee the full amount to the New York court. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Putin hails illegal annexation of Crimea after claiming election win. Blinken in Manila as South China Sea tensions rise. Trump unable to get $464 million bond in New York fraud case, his lawyers say. That ends World News.
Development News.
The government is expected to complete the old development projects which were stopped in midway due to the past economic crisis. Accordingly, 2,200 million rupees will be provided from the decentralized budget in this purpose. That ends Development News.
Moving on with Sports News.
An MAU for sports and sports education will be signed between Sri Lanka and Hungary in order to enhance the cooperation between the two nations. The recommendations of the Attorney General has been received for the agreement on the draft bill in this regard. That came to you on Sports News.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The National Savings Bank has introduced a Platinum Digital First debit card by the technology of MasterCard Pay by Account. This app has been expanded globally. Beneficiaries and more safety will be provided to these card holders through the digitalized payment system. That came to you on Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, it has been reported that nearly 500,000 tourists have visited the island during the past period of this year. More than 100,000 tourists have been arrived in the island during the last 18 days of this month. That came to you on economic news.
Weather report.
A temporary change in the dry weather in the southern half of the island can be expected after tomorrow. A few showers may occur in the eastern province. South thundershowers may occur at a few places in western and Sabaragamulla provinces and in Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts in the evening or night. Mainly dry weather will prevail elsewhere of the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in Sabaragamulla and central provinces and in Galle and Kalthur districts during the morning. That ends weather report. To wrap up the afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Party leaders decide on 3-day debate on no faith motion on Speaker. A program to create 1 million youth entrepreneurs will be expedited. Cabinet approves the program to provide 10 kilograms of rice for low-income families a month. 20 special police teams deployed as organized crimes in the rise. Foreign news, Putin hails illegal annexation of Crimea after claiming election win. With that, we wrap up the midday news on Radio Sri Lanka, and our next main news bulletin will come away at 6:15 p.m. this evening.